The forest was damp with mist when Anna woke. Pale light leaked through the cabin's thin curtains, and the air smelled of earth, rot, and old wood. For a moment she didn't remember where she was. Then she saw the equipment on the floor. Cameras, specimen jars, and notebooks scattered across the boards. And it came back to her. She was here to study a rare silk moth species known for its enormous cocoons, said to grow large enough to wrap entire trees. It was supposed to be a quiet research trip. But something had changed. Her hands trembled as she picked up her camera and replayed the footage from the night before. The lens had captured movement outside. Not an animal, not a moth, but something human-shaped crawling from the base of a tree. It was coated in a slick, pale film of silk and moved with unnatural stiffness before disappearing into the woods. The image froze on the screen. A hollow face turning toward the camera, mouth open in a silent cry. Outside, the forest buzzed too loudly. Every insect seemed to hum in perfect rhythm, a strange pulsing harmony that made her skin crawl. Anna grabbed her knife and field journal and went to check one of the silk nests she'd been observing. It hung from a branch like an enormous tear, shimmering faintly. Overnight it had doubled in size. The threads were thicker now, almost veined. As she leaned in, she could swear she heard breathing, faint, steady, human. She hesitated, then cut a slit into the cocoon's surface. A thin hiss of air escaped, followed by something wet and soft pressing through. She froze when she saw it. An eye, open and unblinking, staring right at her from inside the silk. Anna staggered back, dropping her knife. The cocoon twitched. Fingers, human fingers, pressed against the membrane, stretching it until the silk tore with a wet sound. Panic seized her. She turned and ran back toward the cabin, tripping over roots, branches tearing at her sleeves. Inside, she slammed the door shut and tried to call for help, but her phone had no signal. The generator was dead. When she checked her other camera, the one pointed at the cabin from outside, she saw something impossible. The recording showed her walking into the woods hours ago, and she hadn't returned. But she was here now, inside, trembling. Then, on the screen, the other Anna lifted her head and stared directly into the lens. The sound started again, a faint rustling inside the walls. When she looked up, threads of silk were spreading slowly across the ceiling beams, glistening as they crawled downward like living roots. One brushed her wrist. It was warm, alive. She screamed and slashed at it with her knife, and dark fluid sprayed out, hot against her skin. The thread recoiled, retreating into the shadows. As night fell, the forest outside glowed faintly. Dozens, maybe hundreds, of cocoons pulsed with light, each one breathing in and out as if alive. Through the thin silk she could see shapes moving. Some were small, insect-like. Others were unmistakably human. Anna barricaded the door and covered the windows. The hum of the forest grew louder, vibrating through the floorboards, through her bones. She turned back to the camera. Its red light blinked. Motion detected. She rewound the footage and saw her reflection in the window. But in the video, her reflection was moving while she stood still. Slowly it turned toward the camera and smiled. Then came the sound at the door. Scratching, deliberate, patient. A voice followed, low and familiar, whispering through the wood. "Let me in. You're almost ready." The walls began to breathe. The silk returned, bursting from the corners, wrapping around her legs, her arms, her chest. She screamed, struggling, but the threads moved with purpose, tightening until she couldn't move. They lifted her off the ground, spinning her in midair as more strands wove over her, sealing her inside a cocoon of living silk. She could barely breathe. Inside the dark, the air was hot and wet. She felt something crawling beneath her skin, a writhing warmth that moved through her veins. Her mouth filled with silk as she tried to scream. Outside, the forest fell silent. Days passed before the cocoon split open. A pale figure emerged, its skin smooth and glistening like new flesh. It blinked at the sunlight, its eyes unfocused but aware. It stretched delicate, translucent wings, trembling with its first breath. Around the cabin, more cocoons stirred, cracking open one by one, the forest whispering in unison as the new shapes unfolded into the light. The thing that had once been Anna turned toward the trees. The air shimmered, the earth trembled, and somewhere, deep in the forest, 1,000 wings began to beat as one.